Before diving into this story, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe, because here, every story is a new emotion you won't want to miss. The silence sliced through the air like a sharp scalpel. The cold lights of that underground hospital flickered at irregular intervals, as if even electricity was too tired to keep resisting. At the end of the narrow corridor, Anna Clara adjusted the sheet of an unconscious patient, her delicate movements contrasting with the tension that hung in the air. Her eyes, deep and determined, carried more than professional concern. They were windows to a quiet faith, to a hope that insisted on living even when everything around screamed that time had run out. In a world where feeling had become almost a crime, she still dared to love, still prayed in silence, even without knowing if anyone was still listening. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Leo was typing before a holographic panel in a room sealed by concrete and secrets. The code slid across the screen like currents of an invisible river, each command resembling an unspoken prayer. He had always been technical, logical, but something about the constant alert from Sector 7B, that hospital, stirred something inside him. He frowned as he read the same line again. Emotional implant compromised. He took a deep breath. That place again? He muttered. Little did he know he was just steps away from crossing paths with a woman who would not only challenge his beliefs, but also awaken something even the most advanced technology couldn't control: love. Years ago, the world ceased to be the world. Life, once chaotic and free, became monitored, programmed, measured by algorithms and neural wristbands. After the collapse of 2039, when nations fell and the global currency was replaced by behavior credits, a new system emerged: the common network. It promised safety, control, and balance. But behind its futuristic facade, the true price was hidden: the soul's freedom. Deep emotions, strong bonds, and any form of faith were reclassified as reality deviation. Those who resisted disappeared, and no one asked about them. Ana Clara worked in one of the last hospitals that still treated patients without direct ties to the network. She hid in her routine, caring for the forgotten and invisible. Her faith wasn't loud, but it was alive. She never preached. She simply looked into people's eyes and listened like few could. She believed that even there, healing could exist beyond medicine. Leo, though born under the cold light of the New World, carried an ancient restlessness. Son of network engineers raised inside the system, he was taught never to ask questions. But lately, everything in him screamed something was wrong, and that something had a name. And it was in Sector 7B. They didn't know it yet, but they carried opposite halves of the same destiny. Soon, the collapse of the world would be merely the backdrop for a love that, against all odds, chose to live. Ana Clara walked on the hospital rooftop at sunset, her eyes fixed on the artificial horizon protected by satellites. She liked that forgotten corner where the sky still seemed real. Leo appeared behind her, a little awkward, holding a neural scanning device. He claimed he was there for protocol. A lie. He just wanted to see where that unexplainable calm in the reports was coming from. She turned slowly, as if she already knew he would come. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was dense, filled with unspoken questions. He asked if she believed the world could still be saved. She smiled softly without replying directly. She just pointed at the false sky and whispered, "What is true doesn't always reach the eyes, but it's here," and placed her hand on her chest. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. His codes felt like strange languages, and every line reminded him of Ana Clara's eyes. There was something in her that couldn't be explained with data. She was an error in the system, but one far too beautiful to correct. For the first time, he wanted to feel rather than understand. Days later, he returned to the hospital without authorization, claiming it was just a routine check. But he knew he was looking for more than reports. Ana Clara welcomed him without surprise, as if she had been expecting him. They spoke books, forbidden music, and childhood before the network. Between a shy laugh and a painful memory, a bridge was forming. They found each other in that in-between space. Between the rigidity of the system and Ana's quiet faith. Between logic and love. And like a seed sprouting from a crack in the concrete, something began to grow between them. Something the world had long forgotten was still possible, real connection. During a power outage, the unexpected happened. The hospital lights failed for 10 seconds, enough for the network to lose control over emotional chips. Leo was there, adjusting a sensor, when he felt the subtle shock of freedom. For the first time, he could look at Ana Clara without neural blocks triggering internal alerts. And she was looking back in the dark, their hands touched by chance. A small gesture, but deep. Leo, who always avoided contact, didn't pull away. Neither did Ana. The touch lingered, suspended in time, as if they were giving each other permission to feel. When the lights returned, the system reported no failure, but something inside them had changed. Their gazes grew longer, their conversations deeper. Ana began to leave notes hidden in medical files. Leo replied with little drawings in the reports. They were secret codes of a love born in the shadows. But the world doesn't forgive what it can't control. Network agents began circling the hospital, suspicious of the constant glitches in the sector. A new supervisor was sent, Dr. Livia, cold, calculating, known for erasing emotional deviations. Ana sensed the air tightening around them. Still, in that brief breath of freedom, Leo held her hand firmly and said, "I don't know what's happening, but I know I don't want to run from it." That night, Ana Clara had a dream so vivid it made her wake up crying. In it, she saw a crowd ascending into the sky like lights, while she remained on the ground, holding the hand of someone weeping. It was Leo. Around them, chaos. Buildings collapsing, people screaming, but the sound was muffled, as if the world was saying goodbye in silence. She awoke with her heart on fire. She told Leo about the dream, afraid he'd think it foolish. But he didn't laugh. Instead, he sat in silence for minutes. Then he asked, "What if this is a prophecy?" Ana hesitated, then said, "Maybe it's a warning, or maybe a choice." For the first time, Leo felt fear. In the following days, the planet plunged into a sequence of unexplainable phenomena. A permanent eclipse appeared over the northern hemisphere. Children were born with spontaneous genetic mutations. A new leader rose from the east, promising world peace, but his eyes were cold, like they could read souls. The network declared a state of spiritual alert. Nothing made sense anymore. Leo began pulling away from the central commands, conducting his own investigations. He found secret files on mass disappearances during previous network tests. He uncovered forbidden biblical references, old and encrypted. Ana helped him in secret, a guide between worlds. He didn't know if he believed, but he could no longer ignore it. That night, Leo kissed her. It wasn't a cinematic kiss. It was a kiss of fear and surrender, the kind you give when you know it might be your last chance. "If this is all real," he said, "promise you won't leave me behind." Ana kept his face in her hands. "I would never leave you. But there are things even love can't stop, unless we wake up in time."